Here we are on beautiful Jones Street.
You saw Ted Jones.
Daniel Gadd, superstar quarterback turned comedian.
How you doing?
What's up, buddy? Good to see you, dude.
Superstar quarterback.
I mean, bro, I feel like Arizona football, that's the best football. Maybe next to California or Texas, or Florida.
That's what I've been trying to tell these. I'm tired of. Wait, are there N-words allowed on that? No,
right away I'll bleep it out, but then eventually we're gonna keep it flowing as long as I could say it too.
Yeah, no, we're having fun.
We're in the basement.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was a crazy transition to comedy, though. I'll tell you that.
Well, but I would think that's the best position to play in football and then transition into comedy, right? Because you got to be a leader up there. You got to figure out things for yourself for the most part.
Yeah, you're the one that takes all the blame. Even though it's a team sport, when you lose, it's your fault. I mean, it makes bombing a lot easier because you're like, I failed in front of thousands. I can fail in front of 17 people.
Yeah. New York Times wrote an article about you. And you're starting a football. Was it just like a traditional playing peewee in Arizona, and then you became good? Because you're adopted into a family that maybe wouldn't be so prominent in the football field. And by the way, I could say that. You grew up in a Jewish family, and I'm Jewish too.
Half adopted.
L'chaim.
I'm half adopted. My mom's Jewish. Typical black situation. He went out to go get some milk one day. He never came back. And then my mom remarried to a little like 5'6" white dude. And then they were just like, we got this big chocolate kid. We got to do something with him. And I played everything under the sun with him. I even bowled. I was in a bowling league on Sundays. But yeah, and then you get into football and it's like, that becomes life at like 12. Like I had to drop out of Hebrew school like right before my bar mitzvah because like travel football was getting.
You didn't have a bar mitzvah?
No, I'm not because a man because of football. Yeah.
Bro, well, we got to get you one.
You can't have a late in the game.
I guess you're right. Well, or when you turn, I guess 36, that would be your next opportunity probably, since they do the 18 and 18. You know what I mean?
You know how weird that'd be to make everyone. That feels like a vow renewal. It's like, why are we all gathered here?
Right, but I'm sure everybody in your family would be fired up for you. I would be. I would come if you invited me.
I've always wanted that. I mean, I've been to numerous bot and bar mitzvahs. That'd be so nice to have where the chocolates meet the J's and everyone comes together.
I mean, bro, we've been meant to be together for a long time.
It's the same chocolate and the J's. It's the same exact thing. It's just a bunch of loud people screaming their points just in different accents.
Sure. So you're traditional football. I imagine you play basketball too.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to be,
No, of course I played basketball. Of course I played basketball. That's where what? You think I'm just wasting this?
You played tennis too, right?
Yeah, no, that was the one sport I actually didn't play. I never played golf, baseball, or tennis because they all kind of conflicted with, I wanted to play tennis. We, in high school, my coach, you could either run track or you could play tennis in the off season.
Same season.
Yeah, I was like, please let me play tennis.
Spring, right?
Yeah. He's like, no, your ass is running track.
Okay, because I played tennis at UConn.
I know, you're a D1 athlete as well.
Yeah.
There's very few of us walking around.
I know, but bro, you at one point, I'm sure, thought that like you were going to play in the NFL before your ACL injury, or was that before that?
Well, I mean, whenever you, because I played football growing up and then you get the scholarship offers or whatnot, and you're like, that's what you're doing. It's like you're going there. Like I was a comm major, right? And it's like you get this big contract or this big scholarship, and you're like, this is going to end in just a lot of money, and then it doesn't. You're like, what do we do? Because I blew my ACL up twice, like the sun, and then through my life, I think there's like 9 months where I couldn't really walk correctly in total, and it's like a 12-month process both times. But I mean, about 4.5 of those each time is you just like. You're on a bunch of like oxys and Bud Lights for the first like 2 months. And then after that, it just kind of weans into like, not being able to walk right, and you got to bend your.
But through high school, when you started to get offers, you were completely healthy?
Yeah, never had an injury.
What other schools besides Arizona did you get offers from, and was Arizona your first choice?
Well, no, I went to Washington.
Excuse me, Washington.
Washington was the one that I liked the most, but I mean, I had like ASU and U of A and UCLA, and I was gonna go to UNLV. I really like Vegas. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I was like
the Rebels.
Yeah, because I was like right in the middle. I was like, depending on which site you're on, I was like a 3 or 4 star. I wasn't one of these like big blue chip guys, but big enough to like have some options. But I was really weighing. It's like, all right, you can go to at the time, like a Pac-12 school, and the dude ahead of me finished 4th in the Heisman voting my freshman year. So it's like that maybe it was a bad decision. But
the guy at Washington, you mean?
Yeah, and then now he's Joe Burrow's backup on the Bengals. So it was like the dude was pretty all right. His name's Jake Browning. He's very good.
Did you think that you were going to need to redshirt no matter what school you went to because of the high caliber of the school?
No, looking back, I mean, so I was committed to New Mexico State because I only got like some small mid-major offers before stuff started picking up.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. And I was committed there, and it was funny. When I decommitted, that conversation was like 20 seconds because the news broke on ESPN that I got offered from Washington, and I called my coach, and he was like, I was like, hey, coach, how you doing? He goes, don't you call me when it doesn't work out. That's all he said.
But how did ESPN know that you got an offer?
I have zero clue. I never report anything to anyone.
Isn't it funny how like ESPN is so plugged into the college sports game? Like it seems like almost everything they know right away.
If you break it down to its core, it's a gaggle of creepy 50-year-old men who are just concerned with like 16 and 17-year-old affairs. Yeah. It is really interesting to get, for lack of better words, just sucked off by a grown man at like 16. They're like, oh, we want you so bad, dude. Yeah. Oh, if you came here, we treat you so good. And then you get there and they're like, shut up, idiot.
Yeah, that's insane. So you thought that, at what point did you, I hate to say, like, did you decide that you were going to do other ventures? But like, was it after, like, beginning of sophomore year, you were like, all right, time to become since you were redshirt freshman year, the second year, theoretically, you were now a freshman.
Yeah. So I did my redshirt year, and then I kind of realized, like, it is crazy how, I don't know what your experience was, but like you go from, I was good, best dude on the field, Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year, all this other stuff, and you get there and like, immediately, dog. Because I was playing with, I think on the defense my freshman year, 7 dudes playing the NFL. So it's like, you just get to see immediately, you're like, oh, maybe I'm not. Maybe this isn't how this is going to end.
But what do you think it was that made you slightly behind the guys who were in the NFL? Was it like foot speed? Was it accuracy, throwing length?
For me personally, it was my ability, just like playing quarterback, my like ability to recognize, like, some of these dudes are rocket scientists. Jake Browning, the kid who plays for the Bengals right now, is probably the smartest football mind I've ever been in.
Noticing defensive patterns.
Yeah, and I was an athlete, so it's like you can get away with a little bit more, and then you get to, it's like doing good on a test, and then you get to college and you actually have to study. Well, it's like I just wasn't used to studying, so it's like you should be able to just run and do whatever you want. And then I actually started comedy when I was still at Washington. I did my first set at Laughs in Seattle, and then I was like, I think it was football 100%, and then everything else 0. And the first time I did a mic, I was one of those assholes who brought like 7 people to a comedy open mic, and whatever. And I did it one time, and it slowly went 99-1, and then 50-50, and then eventually it was like, why am I getting cracked in the head? Why am I just getting smoked?
How long did you have? Well, you had a full scholarship all through college, even when you were injured.
Yeah.
And then how much money do you think you would have made in the NIL now?
I hate this shit. Well, I actually went to 2 colleges. So I went to University of Washington for 3 years. In Northern Arizona. Yeah. I would have made more money it depends. Like the 3rd string quarterback on Washington right now is probably making $100,000.
On top of a scholarship?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Easy, yeah. Well, you're getting company brand deals right off the bat, probably from your hometown. There's high school kids that are making money like that now. Because before that would have disqualified you. That's why Melo went to go play overseas, because he wanted to make money in school and he was accepting big baller brand money. And so they were like, well, you can't play in college, so he had to go over there. Now these kids you got rich 17-year-olds that are just making a shit ton of money, and they're just being like fueled by I probably would have made $250,000 a year on top of my scholarship, especially at a small school where you're like the man. Because like I started when I was at Northern Arizona. It's like I would have gotten a Ford company car. Like they all have company cars now, the coaches, the starters. You would have got some form of like, they pool all the money, and then it's just like the NFL. It's like the quarterback gets the most of it, and it gets dispersed kind of like.
And all you need theoretically is one booster a year to give like $2 million, and then it gets dispersed through the teams. Is that kind of how it works?
Well, that's what happens anyway. I didn't realize that until I got there. But like there's, for each like individual scholarship, I don't know, is tennis a head count sport? Or can they split scholarships?
Yeah, they can split scholarships, but the UConn tennis team at the time had maybe 2, and it was like more based on academic performance than like actual athletic performance.
That's how my girl works. She played soccer at UW too, and it was interesting to get to see like, because they would move shit around from like year to year, where it was like, okay, you didn't play well, you got benched, you got hurt, 30% of your shit, like it's gone.
Yeah, which is, you can just lose $50,000 in scholarship money in a year.
Which is absolutely nuts. But then you go to like, at least in football, we have these big donor meetings where you get to meet the person who's personally funding your scholarship. It's a guy who just has $250 laying around, and he's like, you take that. I believe, and then getting to meet those guys are like evil villains.
Did you hear about the guy who I think is the Tennessee quarterback? He's like kind of a middle of the pack quarterback, and he's trying to get $4 million elsewhere.
I forget his name, but the Poly kid. Yeah, big. His name's Nico, but his last name
Nico. Right.
His last name has a bunch of vowels in it, but yeah, he's trying to hold out for $4 million.
Yeah.
because the year before that, the Carson Beck, the kid from Georgia, transferred to Miami and got like $6 million.
How do you feel about this NIL situation?
We should have been getting paid. Yeah.
Right. But do you think it should? I mean, I would think eventually it's going to have more regulations where I would think it would make sense. You tell me what you think, that at certain positions, maybe there's a cap. And then besides that, maybe you start getting paid under the table, but then there's severe violations as there were in the past. But let's say like the star quarterback of like a Pac-12 team, top 10 in the country, you can only make $500K a year. And then anything more than that gets trickled down onto the rest of the roster.
Well, you just
What's up, dude?
What's goody? You just got to go full NFL at this point. They need a players union. They need something where it's like, because like
An NCAA players union?
yeah, like the NFL has the NFLPA, and they're like the liaison between the league and the players. We just need to start treating them as professionals, because like you run out. It's like, at least for me, it's like you run out and there's 75,000 people. They all have store-bought jerseys on, and you're like,
And it's your number.
you know what's funny? When we went to we played Alabama my freshman year, went to the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
And what was Alabama ranked when you played them?
1. And we were 4. We snuck in. we snuck in. It was like 28-7. It was a little bit closer than I thought, but we snuck in. So they give all the coaches get $50,000 bonuses, like just for making the actual game.
The head coach and down to like the
head coach makes more money, but all the position coaches get $50,000 just added on from Chick-fil-A, and then they get that. We got an Xbox. They go, here, take. It didn't matter if you were starting the back. They go, here's an Xbox for you. Don't look around at all the other money being made. You take that, have a nice time. And now it's completely different. Now these dudes are shooting Nike promo commercials for the college football playoffs before the game even happens. So it's like, if you're going to make that much money around me, I need a cut.
That was like Johnny Manziel has talked about that many times.
He should have been a multi-millionaire.
I know. He should have been making 10 mil a year. Easy.
And it'll make it more fun for everyone else.
Yeah,
it's like these kids are screwing off anyway and like being a problem.
But why do you think it would be more fun? Because they would just try harder? Or why?
No, they actually try less hard. It's actually kind of destroying the game, because it's like, I think they should get paid, because as long as like the TV deals are $1 billion, someone should get money. But it's like, you used to have to grind. It's like, no matter how good you were, it's like I think I got paid $1,600 a month was our stipend. And my rent was $900. So you're playing around with, like, in Seattle, which is expensive, you're playing around with $700 of like fun money. And that's a lot for a 19-year-old kid to still get in trouble with. Right. But now you get these kids that you want to see some fun. Can you imagine if Reggie and Matt Leinart just could openly spend money?
Do you think Reggie Bush is going to get his Heisman back?
He did. That's what kickstarted the whole thing.
They did.
They gave it to him last year in like a big, well, yeah, because you can't start paying kids and then be like, Reggie. Right. So they gave him his stuff back.
So Nick Saban, who's the head coach of Alabama football team for years, if you guys don't know, he was saying that was one of the reasons he stopped coaching. It kind of felt like it destroyed the game.
Which makes no sense to me, because I had buddies that went there and they're all driving like Dodge Chargers. And I'm like, I know your family. They're broke as hell. Where's this money come? Even on our team too. It's like, I played with John Ross, who ran a 4.22 at the combine. He didn't do much in the NFL, but at the time he was good. And this fool was driving around in a Hellcat. And you're just like, you're from Long Beach with no money. And where is this? We make the same money, fam. I don't got a Hellcat. Where you getting a Hellcat from?
So at the highest level, you'd say for the most part, every college team had disposable income, whether it was from a booster, from sponsors, there was money going out.
Yeah, they'd get, especially like, I would imagine the basketball team over there at UConn is getting manila folders.
You know what? It was funny. When I was a freshman, we won the national championship in basketball. That was when Kemba was there. Mm-hmm. And then senior year, it was like Andre Drummond and Shabazz Napier. We won the tournament that year too, men, and then also the women during that time. I mean,
they're not even fair.
Well, I don't even know. I don't imagine they were really getting much money. I mean, they were obviously bringing money into the school, but they won like 100 games.
They won everything.
At one point.
Yeah,
and Gino Auriemma arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time. I guess you could split it up between men and women, but you'd say that he's the best, woman coach of all time.
Yeah.
I'd be so interested to know, because the reason that I wanted to go to UConn, I was potentially going to go to like a Boston University. I'd go to University of Miami, but I wasn't going to play the first 2 years. Okay. So I wanted to go to a school with like a big budget sports program so that I would get all the sick gear.
It's fun.
Like I had like UConn tennis, the sweats.
Did you guys get like,
shoes.
You guys were Nike, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys get like a Nike Christmas at the beginning of the season where they just hit you with like a backpack and some stuff?
Dude. Yeah. That was about, we literally called it Christmas.
Nike Christmas.
Yeah, you know about it.
And you show up to fall camp.
And it's August,
Yeah, it's great.
So funny, dude.
Because you're sad. You're like, shit, I got to start fall camp. This is going to suck. We're doing
but then we got got like the quarter zips and everything. And then there was some, like the women got visors and the men didn't get visors. So I'd like trade with the women's team.
That was always interesting. Actually, out of everyone at like the football team got the least amount of stuff. Like my girl would get just truckloads of stuff.
Why
just
did the football
truckloads.
team not?
Because don't get me started on Title IX, pimp. Don't get me started
Dude, the
on
amount
Title
of
IX.
scholarships that the women's rowing team had, and then the women's rowing team I think had 9 scholarships, and the men's tennis team had 2. And it wasn't even like athletic. But to be honest, I mean, we didn't bring in any money to the school. Neither did women's rowing. But
Well, and you're not gonna like my profit sport opinion on that. Everyone should pay for themselves. Like I would get into fights with my girlfriend where I was like, in my head, I don't know if you guys should. I go to games where you guys have 17 people in the stand, and we're taking extended stays on road games.
Yeah,
who's paying for that?
Right. Well, I mean, there's definitely no argument for basketball and football to get paid, and then also, I mean, the UConn baseball team was very good. I think that they went to the NCAAs, but I mean, at some point, there's the baseball team, the soccer team is only making so much money. The soccer team was number 1 when I was there too.
Some schools got a third moneymaker. Like Nebraska's volleyball team sold 92,000 tickets in one game last year.
Yeah, I remember.
So it's like, yes, pay those ladies because they're making money. But it's like, yo, women's badminton, they're getting stuff.
Well, I think
merch.
Well, I think now. The argument does become more in effect because you can see the bottom line for each sport, and then also like how much the kids are actually getting paid.
But but the NIL helps even people like on those non-profit sports, because sometimes you'll have really niche like Livy Dunn. I don't know how much money LSU gymnastics made before her, but it's like
she's getting eyes on the sport.
It opens up doors for like singular individuals to like make cash that they normally wouldn't have. Like Katie Clark's getting paid out the ass as she should because she's like making money. I don't know how much money the Iowa basketball team was doing before that, but it's like, yeah, she should catch some.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I feel like the dynamic, it's just going to keep going lower and lower. Like, Baby Gronk.
Yeah.
Baby Gronk's
going to make, I'm sure he's making more money than all of us.
Dude, he's all over Snapchat.
He's
all of this kid's, honestly, he's got to be making at least 20-30K a month on Snapchat.
At first I hated that kid, but now I hope he does so well.
Yeah, but I don't think you can though. Being that successful as an 11-year-old in like a competitive sport, there are going to be so many kids who are better than him that didn't have the attention at this young.
I was going to say the amount of, I'm pretty sure he's Latino as well. They mature. Dude, the best youth teams I've ever played against were just gaggles full of Latino bros because they mature faster, way easier than you play those same teams in high school and they're the same size as they were before and you just run through them. But the odds that an 11-year-old or 12, however he is, just stays the best guy for, the next 20 years
Super
is like
rare.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's even, it's the case in every sport.
Yeah.
Like, when did you feel like you peaked in football?
Oh.
Like junior, senior year of high school?
No, my freshman year of college, because like I was
a red shirt.
Yeah, because I was the scout quarterback. So you're playing against like all Americans and these really good guys, and it's like I'm holding my own.
Sorry, what's a scout quarterback?
Like the guy who like we break off into like offense is on one side, defense is on the other side, and then if you're like not a dude who like plays in the game or is like a red shirt, you go practice against the defense and you run like whoever, like if we're playing Oregon, they'll have Oregon's plays for the scout team and they hold it up. And
how do they have Oregon's plays though?
Film. You watch film. Like it's so crazy to see. I would never want to be a coach. No chance. These dudes work 70, 80 hours a week doing dumb shit like that, where it's like, I have to watch Oregon's defense and it's some like low quality control guys. So I can write the plays down, laminate them. And then I have to go hold in the huddle and like, be like, Bridge Gadd, you got that? You're going to throw, all right, cool. We're going to do that.
But what about the guy from Michigan that got in trouble for knowing all the team's plays?
Because he's an idiot, because he's dumb as hell. Like when I was playing Arizona State, got in trouble for that. That to me is just a smart competitive advantage. If you can figure out what that means.
And which guy is doing it. Yeah. There was like 4 guys doing like.
If you can figure that out, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for tremendous. Yeah, steal
like
everything.
You seem like a true sign nerd.
Yeah, but now they have headsets, so they got rid of that. Just like, in the NFL, they have like the speaker back there.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I wish I could have played with. It would have been fun to hear the coach be like, all right, here we go. We got 56 right, sprint right 3 on 1.
And then you just repeat it to the huddle.
Yeah. Oh, I do miss that. Let me tell you something. There's comedy. That's the only thing that comedy doesn't replace is that team, like, because you can hang out with the bros and we're all friends, but it's like when you go on stage, it is just you, unless you do one of those like bumping mic deals.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's crazy, man. What was the best moment at Washington?
Oh, I thought you were about to ask me best sports moment in general.
No, yeah, wait, I think both.
That happened at Hebrew school. I don't know if you know what it's like to be the only black kid at a Hebrew school. I do this on stage shamelessly, but it's fun as hell. It's fun as hell. It's awesome. But football wise, probably like, you know, it's weird. Probably best moment, tearing my ACL. Because me and my parents didn't have like the best relationship. When I tore it the first time, I got to watch my dad be like, damn, my boy. And I didn't get to see that for 12 years because they were just trying to like build this robot and it affects how I am now. And it's probably why.
Were they very supportive, like football family?
They were exactly that though. They were a supportive football family. And so it's like, if it was outside of football, like I was not to do nothing growing up. It's like no sleepovers, no partying, no going out, no nothing. It's like you eat, sleep, and breathe football. And when I tore my ACL, that was the first time my dad was like, I think I'm gonna have to know like you the person now. And you're like, yeah, I think you might have to. Or sports wise, I did score 6 touchdowns in one game. That was also pretty fun.
At least when I was going to college, you had to wait for college coaches. Like I guess it was as soon as senior year started, or there was a NCAA deadline, and then you get all these calls. How did that work?
Well, it's different by sport, which makes no sense because my girl was committed to Washington at 15 years old. She was a sophomore in high school, but soccer, I guess, gets recruited earlier, whereas like football, it's a little bit more of like you got to get developed and see like what your size is going to be towards the end.
Because basketball, I think, is sort of the similar way as soccer. Then it sounds
because it's less physically
right. You got to see like how much you're going to grow.
You don't need that much meat on your bones. You can just be a gangly like 6'8" kid as a sophomore and like make it work. But football, you have dead periods, and then it really picks up if you're like kind of worth a damn like in between the summer of your sophomore year and your junior year, and then it's like. It was right before they didn't have the rules set in place yet because social media was still becoming a tool. So like you couldn't call or text during certain times. There were rules.
You can like posts.
You can DM and you can like posts. So that's how I'd get recruited is Twitter. It was like, because I don't use Twitter for anything anymore. And sometimes I'll just look back at it and be like,
what up?
Let's go, Pam. I'll look back and be like, I used to be so cool. Just having grown men in my DMs being like, Daniel, we'd love if you became a Colorado State Ram.
Dude, oh man, in college football has definitely been changed. NCAA football, college basketball, obviously also, but football, I imagine, way more so. How do you feel about Coach Prime, Deion Sanders?
Believe it or not, he's good for young whippersnappers because he's cool. Like
I love him, dude.
It's really hard.
Great.
It's really hard for a 50-year-old man to garner the respect. Nothing's cooler than a 19-year-old black kid with confidence, and like you're never going to convince his
slides.
Him. Yeah, you're never going to convince him otherwise. No, that's what they wear because he'll be like no slides in class,
no sagging your pants, sitting in the front row,
no do rags, none of that shit. We're coming like I don't want you in skull caps, do rags.
It's not even cold out here. None of these hand warmer bullshit.
Take that shiesty off. The fuck no, that's
dude.
Which is real.
But I think also the real reason he's garnered respect is because he is Prime.
But that's why they respect him too, though, because they see a dude being a now old curmudgeon-y grown man, but they know that at the same time he's in a Cuban link that costs more than their mom's house, being like, we will be respectable.
Right. Do you see him leaving Colorado?
Eventually, yeah.
I mean, to go to what? Like at LSU, Alabama?
A big college. He'll never coach in the NFL, I don't think. Because you can't.
I mean, I don't think, it wouldn't make sense for him.
The same reason that Saban doesn't work in the NFL, it's like these are grown-ass men. He makes more money than everyone on Colorado, which is why he can talk his shit. The second the quarterback and the left tackle and the corner and all these guys make more money than you.
Okay, interesting.
That's literally the owner saying he values them more than you. Like, watch your mouth around it.
And NFL quarterback salaries are just going crazy. I mean, as basketball salaries, but
a backup quarterback makes $3 million. Not even touch the
Dude,
field.
do you ever watch Blue Mountain State?
That's what I thought college was going to be like.
You thought you were going to be Alex Moran?
I kind of was Alex Moran. Towards the end, once you kind of just give up on like playing, you're just like,
dude,
yeah, you're just
that's
like
amazing.
Yeah, party.
The trickle down banging.
It is because I went there. I went there trying to be Radon. I was like, I'm gonna be the guy.
God,
and then you get there and you're
Radon.
like, I think I'm Alex Moran.
Dude, they're coming out with season 2. Do you see that?
And they're bringing back which they better not screw this up because I watched Thadland, the movie, that dumpster fire.
Bro, I felt so bad how bad that was.
That thing sucks shit.
Dude,
I was all excited.
And Thad, Alan Rish is one of my favorite TV characters of all time.
Well, because now he's Jack Reacher?
Yeah, which is like an insanely big role, but I've never watched that.
Yeah, but I know he's like a cool action guy.
Yeah. And people are like, I can't believe this guy used to be Thad.
No, I'm used to
when I think of it the other way around. Yeah. He's
houseboy.
Where's my bucket pussy?
Get out! Dude, he's awesome. I hope they bring him back in the right way because I know it's gonna be tough. 4 dudes just like that.
Yeah. Did you know? I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it, but did you know kids on the team who were taking stuff like performance enhancing drugs like that, or did you see it a lot?
Everybody would. Well, it depends on what you call performance enhancing. Because
I don't know.
What was your comfort level with getting piss tested? How often did you have to have your cock out in front of old guys?
Bro. First of all, I think I was the reason why the tennis team had to get drug tested because they caught me smoking weed in my dorm room. So they used to not drug test us, and they never got pissed at me because I made us get drug tested.
Well, you might have fucked them, but my coach was cool. He understood that like we lived in Seattle right around the time that like weed was getting legalized. And so he had what was called a stupid test, because if you don't drug test your team, the NCAA will, and that's not what you want. So he would tell us, he'd be like, drug tests are coming, and all that would mean is you're not going to have to piss in a cup for 30 days. But that means you better get your shit together.
For 30 days, though.
So he would tell us that usually on a Friday in like the off season, he'd be like, drug tests are coming. And then we just, smoke like chimneys for the next 2 days and then shut it down.
For a month.
Yeah, and shut it down. Right, and then on the drug test day, you'd go in, do your thing.
And then right after you smoke.
Yeah, which I don't know if you guys know this. If you've never gotten like professionally drug tested, like most normal people, you just have to pee in a cup. And
they look at your dick.
They made, at least us, this guy could have been having a good time, but he made us like pull our pants down to like your thigh, so your ass is out. And then you got to tuck your shirt into your armpits, so they can see a full 360 to make sure.
Blue Mountain State when he had the fake penis.
Yeah, you can do an oil. You can do an oil change. You can do a fake penis, which I actually think an oil change will kill you. I think that's false as hell. I don't think you could just shove a plastic rod down your dick.
Yeah, just put somebody else's pee through your pee hole. That's wild.
No, but the dude did tell horror stories of like people have tried to use fake. I like the word appendage. I'm like, they tried to use a fake appendage. I'll be like, yo, say it a stunt cock. He brought a stunt cock in.
Stunt cock.
Yeah, but they would drug test us like that, and then like everyone was doing some form of Winstraw. A couple guys were doing. Everybody before the game was doing Adderall or Vyvanse.
Well, but in terms of like strengthening, would that just be more of like the offensive line, defensive line? Because like the agile people like yourself,
linebackers and running backs, the dudes that need size but also to move. Because like an offensive lineman's already a giant human, and like a receiver doesn't necessarily need to be the biggest guy in the world.
Sure.
But a dude who constantly has to be like 230 and just take punishment, it's like, you want a little extra. It's interesting to see dudes shoot themselves up. It's real jarring.
Right in the butt?
Yeah.
Or like thigh?
Yeah, butt or thigh. Anywhere that you got like a little piece of fat, you just throw it in.
Damn. And did you play with anyone who has some sort of like mental contusion, like CTE, or how does that work?
That's always a fun buzzword. Probably for sure.
Right. You just don't know. You're young.
I would imagine. I would imagine I have some form, and I played quarterback, which is like a lot less violent the older you get. But like growing up, we were on like the back end of hitting every day and like hitting drill, because now football's pussy. It's like you're in shorts every day except for the game.
The extra padded on.
You got all that. But back when I was like youth football to like right up till high school, you're hitting every day, full pads, getting your teeth kicked in. Then like get up and do it again. And so like I would imagine if you took an image of my brain, it's not squeaky clean.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And would you let your kids play football?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's dope.
It's the best. Yeah, I understand
but there's so many parents. Like I'd say 90% of parents would say that they would never let their kids play football, just based on even watching college and watching NFL.
And to that, I'd say, most of you niggas should probably not let your kid play football. But it's like, what am I going to do? It's like, I got the build that I have and the background that I have. My wife's a former Division I and professional soccer player. It's like, we're not gonna try. It's like maybe, sure, my Jewish cousin shouldn't, but it's like we got to do something. We got to do something.
Well, you could play basketball.
That's the backup. As long as they don't play soccer, I hate soccer.
Why?
Can't stand it. Honestly, not even the fact that I think it's soft. Like, sure, it's soft, but growing up, because I lived in Arizona, so it's a lot like soccer's pretty big over there. You'd have to compete for field lights in like youth football. So you'd show up and like there was a miscommunication on who'd have the field. There'd just be soccer kids out there in booty shorts and freaking thigh guards.
Yeah, but they'd be playing on the football field that has markers for football, right?
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be the other way around.
No, but depending on that, nothing makes me more mad than seeing just a beautiful football field with just yellow lines.
Sure, right.
You a soccer guy before I start talking too much shit?
Dude, no, go ahead.
For
me, it was between baseball and tennis, and I picked tennis.
Okay, the finesse sports.
Sure. I played basketball. I played basketball in middle school and I was solid.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have the height, didn't have the speed. I didn't really like it that much. And then also like the team travel sport, I didn't really want to do. But then the reason I picked tennis over baseball was like I couldn't stand if I was pitching or I was playing another sport in the outfield or in the infield, and then somebody would miss a pop fly or like fuck up a ground ball, and then
you liked having it all on you. If you won or you lost, it
for
was
the most part.
I wrestled. I like that.
And then that's like the same reason we do comedy.
Yeah,
I feel like. So, how did you transition into comedy? I know you said you started with the open mic, but then when did you move to New York?
Well, I started in 2018, and that's where I did it the first time in Seattle. And then I moved to Phoenix when I transferred, and that's where I started doing it kind of more, but there wasn't like too much. I was living in Flagstaff actually, which is like an hour and a half away, and there wasn't too much comedy up there.
Is there a college there?
That's where NAU is. Yeah.
Okay.
So you get to do like, but the cool part is like there's like 3 comedians there, so it's not that hard to be the best. So I was gonna do like I did 1,000 seat, and I got to perform with like Noel Miller at like 6 months into comedy for 1,000 people, just because there's no one there, so you're not competing with anyone, right? And then I was going like back and forth down to Phoenix, and then Phoenix for like 4 years, I guess, where I really like made my bones. And coming from a B market's cool because if you can like ascend the ladder, you like working at clubs every weekend, and we get to have like we have ginormous clubs, so you get this like nice sort of like big push in, and then it prepares you to come over here where it's like even the biggest. I mean, the Cellar's biggest room holds like $150, so it's like you get used to some of this luxury items that you don't get until a little bit later. But then I've only been here for I think 8 months.
You love it or what?
For different reasons. I like that every day I leave and I don't see like just cactus and desert and sun bleached white people. It's like that's nice. You get to walk outside and you smell dog shit and Dominican dude spits in your eye, but then you're like, comedy, babe. This is why we play. This is why we play the game.
Do you like the no driving?
Yeah. Well, I miss listening to music in a car because surround sounds sweet, but everything else, no. It's like having to, one time, like I still have a car and my girl has it right now in Albany where she's going to school. And she drove down one time and the Brooklyn Nets were practicing. I live in Bed-Stuy. I live in the hood. And the Brooklyn Nets were practicing and the basketball court like right by my house. And they just moved my car.
Wait, what do you mean they're practicing?
They had like some outside.
Indoor facility?
No, it was just, it was actually pretty cool. It was very New York-ish. They had like it was like a big block party. And the Nets practiced like right in the middle of the block party. For like an hour. They just had like a little shoot around thing and the coaches and everyone was out there.
New York is the best, bro. So you're really getting acclimated, man. I see you here all the time working, grinding the open mics.
Trying what's a nigga
good
do
for
to
you,
get
man.
a spot.
Good
No, I'm
for
just kidding.
you,
But yeah,
bro.
trying to work the stuff. It is cool that there's so many more ladders. Like in Phoenix, there's a bunch of big clubs, sure, but like there's 2 dudes that control the whole thing. And it's like if those guys like you get a lot of work. But like if God forbid those dudes don't like you, then you might as well leave, man, because it's like, what are you going to do? But out here, just on the street, there's 7 clubs.
Yeah, there's 7 clubs in like a 500 step radius from here.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like the opportunity, if one's not working for you, you can kind of pivot over here, move over here. And like, there's professional comedians out here too. There's no professional comedians during the week in Arizona. The only professional ones are the ones that come into town Thursday to Sunday or whatnot. So it is nice to just get to, you just bump into, I call it seeing Jedis, but like every time you leave the house, you're just like, hey, look at that.
Do you still have football in your life at all or no?
Sports betting. It's about as crazy as it gets. I watch it differently now though. It's like I'll let my kids play, but I'll be scared as shit on the inside. Like I watch games now and I'm just like, dude, that's what I was doing. Like you'll just watch like a little hit and some dude's head will just bounce off the ground. You're like, that was life? You just got up.
What's changed since you went to college and watching college football now and then watching NFL?
Aside from the fact that everyone makes more damn money now, it's like the game has gotten a little bit softer, which...
How?
You can't touch a quarterback, which bothers the hell out of me. That's like, you should, as someone who played it, it's like, yo, if you get to me, it's like, touch me. I think it's weird that like, you got these guys basically just like take the pads off them then if you're not allowed to hit. And
well,
then
I would think from a viewer standpoint and then also probably from the NFL standpoint is that these are the guys who are really bringing in the viewership theoretically. They're the ones making the money. The owners would talk to the NFLPA.
Yeah, there's the saying the defense wins championships, offense puts asses in seats. And like that's true, but also hitting is what sells. It's like dunking. It's like people are watching more women's sports now, but it's like that's the reason people watch men's basketball. It's because there's giant fools that can do like crazy.
Yeah, and now people aren't watching it as much is because there's so many 3-pointers.
They're pulling. No one wants to just watch threes, sweetheart. It's like get your ass. I sound like such an uncle. Yeah. Get your ass down on the block.
Shatter the glass, pal.
I want 3 yard in a cloud of dust football. Stop all this 5 receiver.
But why do you think
nonsense.
it's changed? Just because of the touching the quarterback's a big part, and then also are people faster? People like
That's the problem. It's like, yeah, people are bigger, faster, stronger, and there's, every 3 years there's a new NFL guy who spazzes and kills his whole family. So they're just like, maybe we should look into this somewhere.
Do you think that there's going to be, speaking of which, did you think that there's going to be like more studies that come out over the next, like a guy?
I wouldn't date Rob Gronkowski in the long term.
Okay. Like a guy like Antonio Brown, star wide receiver. His last game, he took his shirt off when he was playing for the Jets.
Just left.
And now he's like on every podcast. Very funny guy, but some people are just concerned for his overall health.
I think maybe a little bit. I think he's just kind of like that. It's like, I think he's a super rich guy who's like really good at a sport and like was on the back end of his career and had a bunch of money lined up. And he's just like, I don't know. Why would I do? It's kind of like, I don't know. Travis Kelce, I don't know what entices him to really play too much. He's done everything. He makes $1 trillion a year outside of playing football.
Yeah, he's got a huge podcast.
Yeah, he's a huge podcast. He's probably going to marry the biggest celebrity in the entire world. It's like, why? You want to get smacked in the mouth? Have you ever been hit like football wise?
No, bro.
It sucks ass. It's like it's getting actually put on your ass like really hard. You like get up, you're like, why am I doing this? If I'm making millions doing something else. So.
But did you ever have that thought playing in high school or college? Like, do you remember one sack that really took you out, like either during a game, practice, scout, quarterback, or what?
In college one time, I played with this dude named Vita Vea, and he plays for the Bucks now. This dude is 6'5", 330. He's this big Polynesian dude with long hair, smells like an island breeze. And I was on a scout team, which is where like you're supposed to like not let the defense win, but like it's a little bit like they're supposed to get their fits in and make sure they have the right alignment and stuff. And I like ran a read option and I hit a spin move. I was trying too hard. I hit a spin move on this guy and made him miss. And the defensive coaches were like, hell yeah, bridge gap, make him look stupid, do it again. And Vita's like, hey bud, you do that again, I'm gonna fuck you up. And then I did it again because the coach is like, do it exactly the same way. And this guy just took me and went and choke slammed me. And I like felt my heart in my throat. And he was like, I told you not to do it again. And then you get up and you're like, that was one of the contributing factors to being like, I don't want to do this for you.
Well, but how quickly are you? Obviously you have 40 seconds on the play clock to like legitimately rebound from that. But how quickly do you mentally rebound from that? Does it take a few minutes or what?
From a non-concussion, yeah, you come back in like a minute. But I've been concussed pretty bad before, where you're like throwing up and like seeing stars and stuff.
And you like have to have the lights off when you go back to the dorm.
Well, that's if you tell somebody. We would call it the C word because the second you say the C word,
we're Mountain State too.
Yeah, it's like you can't because that's real. The second you say the C word, there's 7 trainers around you being like, give me your helmet, you're done.
So one of my teammates freshman year on the tennis team roomed with a soccer player, and for no joke, 3 months they couldn't have the lights on.
Bad concussion sport.
Yeah, in his apartment.
Yeah,
you doing header practice all day in soccer.
You'll see dudes.
That's something that's like underrated.
No, that was always my girl's argument. Is it actually has the same statistics as far as concussions, especially female soccer for whatever reason. They tear more ACLs than football and they get more concussions than football.
Damn.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say before I interrupted?
No, I just know a bunch of dudes who like definitely have mentally slid a little bit, where you see them not like slurring and stuff like Tyson, but like you ask them a question and their recall is a little bit like, and you're like, damn.
Circling back, it only justifies how you're able to, being a backup quarterback, make $100K a year or something like that.
Yeah. Oh well, when you're in it, you don't even think about it. When you're like, that's just your life. You wake up at 6, you get yelled at by a big bald guy. You go to class.
Yeah.
Did you have scary coaches? Were your coaches scary?
Dude, there was one guy.